That's concerning. He's talking about Hades. When you die, you go to Hades. The souls go to Hades. Now look what he says about reincarnation. This is the last thing I'm going to read right here. This is in the section of the Josephus extract of the Josephus discourse of the Greeks. So he's talking to the Greeks because he was having dialogues with the Greeks about what Hades is, right? So he says right here, he said, this is the discourse concerning Hades, where all the souls go, wherein the souls of men are confined into a proper season, which God has determined, when he will make a resurrection of all men from the dead. See, not procuring, or he said, not procuring a transmigration. That's reincarnation of souls from one body to another. So he just killed that lie right there. He said the Jews did not deal with reincarnation, but the Pharisees did. The Pharisees. Go ahead, Azar.
Yeah, the water, brother. So that's something heavy what you said. You mentioned resurrection. Now, reincarnation and resurrection is not the same.
Nope.
Listen to me good, y'all. Reincarnation and resurrection is not the same. Okay? Resurrection in the Bible, that's biblical. You can read about that. You can read about the prophet Elisha was able to do it with the young man that died. Christ did it. Okay, with Lazarus. Right. That's resurrection. So the concept of how that works, the Most High, with his power, can return the spirit into that same body that it came out of. But not through birth, not through being reborn. Because Christ explained to Nicodemus, you can't go back into the womb and be reborn. The Most High has the power to re-energize and regenerate that body with the same spirit that came out of it. And that's what happened with Lazarus. Even though he was dead 4 days, the Most High regenerated those cells in that body. The definition of regeneration. I know some people out there using the scripture about when Christ said, when you follow me into regeneration, and it was taught in the past that it meant the returning of a generation. That's not the definition. Regeneration does not mean that an entire generation is going to return. That's not what that means. The word regeneration has a definition, and it goes like this. It says the act or process of regenerating, the state of being regenerated, spiritual renewal or revival. Regeneration does not mean that an entire generation is going to return. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. That's not what that means.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rekaha Kodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Also, I want to give a sincere shalom to you other elders and you Akim, you brethren, you few sisters and you followers of the truth. And let me say shalom to the elect. That is peace to the elect. I want to try to go through this video quick. It's all on how the spirit goes because it's a lot to get into. Because I'm going to touch on two different topics, and that's dealing with reincarnation and a little bit of hell. And the problem with dealing with the hell doctrine, you can't deal with the reincarnation doctrine. And the reincarnation doctrine, you can't deal with the hell doctrine. So you have Israelites that have a Christian doctrine, and that's pretty much what it is, which goes back dealing with the Roman Catholics, the Calvinists, the Jesuits, and basically a plantation Christian doctrine. Okay, so anyway, this video is called The Original One West Elders Lies of Reincarnation Doctrine. So you get guys, they sit together, they don't find another way to teach, so they kind of bundle up their own platform, while the so-called One West Israelites are the ones gathering in the fruit. And why? Because we're out doing the work, because the Lord's doctrine is the one withstands. When you have a shaky doctrine, you can't go out there on the hedges and teach, because it doesn't make sense. And it's too much confusion with a shaky doctrine. Even though doctrines bring arguments and bring strife, at the end of it, you can stand on it. And when you got guys that got all these different types of doctrines, you can't stand on it, you know? So anyway, I don't even know where to start. First, we're going to go into one you call Jesus. It says Romans 1:3, concerning his son Jesus Christ, Yahushua, our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh. Made the seed of David according to the flesh. So you got certain guys that say, well, how can he be made from the seed of David? He would have had to been back then and jump in time and then be made it, whatever. But the made of the seed of David means he was Solomon, and I'll go there too. Let's go to King Solomon. This is proof of reincarnation. Okay, this is 2 Samuel 7, and I'm going to start at 11. And it says, since the time that I commanded judges to be over the people Israel, and have caused thee to rest from all thine enemies, also the Lord telleth thee that he will make thee an house. And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, right, which shall proceed a throne, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Right? How is this? This is the throne of the kingdom is going to be established forever in the coming kingdom, right? I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, this is talking about the one you call, talking about Solomon, right? He said, if he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men. So when did King Solomon get chastised with the rod of men, right, and the stripes of men? When did he get chastised? When did he get beat with the rod of men and stripes with the stripes of men? Okay. And thine house and thy kingdom shall be established forever before thee, before thy throne, and shall establish forever. So the one you call Jesus, Solomon, would have had to came back, and that's when he got, the punishment, right? When he got whipped and beaten and hung on the cross, all for the purpose of dying for the children of Israel. According to all these words and according to this vision, so did Nathan speak unto David. So let's go to Matthew 1:1. Let's go to Matthew 1:1. The book of generation, the book of the generation of Jesus Christ. We hate to keep saying that word, of Yahushua, the son of David. Who was the son of David? Solomon. Why is it saying here that the one you call Jesus is the son of David? And it says the son of Abraham. Why is he saying he's the son of Abraham, which would have been Isaac? He can't be two of them. You had Isaac, he had other sons. You know? So we would see that he would have been David and Isaac. Right? And it goes on, Abraham begot Isaac, Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot Judas. And this is why you had the one Jesus say, for it is evident, Hebrews 7:14 is evident that the Lord sprang out of Judah. Right? Sprang out of Judah. Going back to the lineage. And it goes on down, I'm going to just jump to the point. And Jacob begot Joseph, right? And the husband of Mary, whom was born of Jesus, who was called the Christ, the son of the generations of Abraham to David and to 14 generations. And from David unto the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations. And from the carrying away of Babylon unto Christ, Yahushua, are 14 generations. So how do you get around that? This proves that Solomon, what you call Jesus, was here before. Reincarnated, back reincarnated. What's wrong with that? I mean, the earth reincarnates, everything reincarnates. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 1 and 11. There is no remembrance of former things, shall there be, and it says, neither shall there be remembrance of things that are to come. This is when it goes to, there's no new thing under this. Let me go back and read that. Let me read it the right way. It says, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done, it is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything wherefore it may be said, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. I mean, it's not really that hard to us, but it's hard to them. Now, he also went into, the guy in the yellow shirt, that the Jews, I was going back with the Greeks about reincarnation. When you're dealing with the word Greeks, this is what Paul would have had issues with in the ministry, the same thing Yahushua had issues with. He was dealing with the Israelites. And this is why Paul told Timothy 6 and 20, right? This is why he said this, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoid profane and vain babblings, opposition of science falsely so called, because it was already known. But then you had people trying to, and this is why he said, don't be worried about who this father is and that father, because there was an issue with reincarnation. And then you had to know there was different doctrines back then. There's just like there's different doctrines now. This is a form of reincarnation. Fopi, this school, this group, the Sakaris, and all the other breakoffs and groups, they were meant to do what they do. This all happened before, and we're doing the same thing. Everybody's waking up in their lot, doing the same thing, right? So let's go to Matthew 22 and 41. This is one I like to go to often. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them, saying, what think ye of Christ? Whose son is he? They say unto him, the son of David. So why are they asking him, telling him, we know you the son of David? Right? Who's the son of David? Solomon. He said to them, how then doth David in the spirit call him Lord, saying, the Lord said, sit unto my Lord. So he said, how can the Lord say to his Lord? He's the Father, that's the Son. Sit thou on my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool. Now when you go further into the scriptures, trying to make this quick, Simon Peter, they was all saying the same thing. And when he said, who do you think I am? And they was going into the other things about who he thought he was. And I believe Simon Peter said, thou art the Son of God. Because he said that's what matters at this point. Right? And this is what matters now, who we are today. But for truth's sake, we have to recognize that we were here before, because if you don't, you're going to think in that hell doctrine. Right? So the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou on my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool. We read this in Hebrews as well. If David then called him Lord, right? So if David calling his own son Lord, so if David called him Lord, how is he his son? And no man was able to answer him a word, neither does any man from that day forth ask him any more questions. So it says in 45, if David then call him Lord, this is what I get all you Christians and all you non-reincarnation believers on. This is the hitter quitter right here, man. Right? It says, if David then call him Lord, how is he his son? Right? And that's why you get chopped up and you can't deal with us on these levels. You can't deal with us on these levels. This is when the kingdom of heaven is going to be set up, established under the throne of David, under the house of David, under Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, under the Father and the Son. Right? So now let's go into some words. Revelation 22 and 16. He says, I, Yahushua, sent mine angel to testify to you these things in the churches, that I'm the root and offspring of David. What is the offspring? What is the offspring? The kindred. When you deal with the kindred and the offspring, you're dealing with the progeny or the progenitor. the root in the beginning. So when he says, I'm the root and I'm the offspring of David, the kindred of David, out of his lineage, out of his loins, he became Solomon. And when Solomon died, Solomon came back, all the way down to the lineage of Yahushua. When Solomon died, and then ultimately Yahushua came back, the one you call Solomon, he didn't come back as Solomon, but he came back as Yahushua, right? He came back. And it says the offspring, the family, stock, tribe, or nation. So I'm just trying to get through this real quick. The root, we all know, is the beginning, the progenitor, right? So now we're going to go into, so basically that's pretty much it. So now we're going to go into the hell doctrine. This is why you can't go on that reincarnation if you believe in hell. And it says, in hell he lift up his eyes, being torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. Which they don't understand the story of Lazarus anyway. But I'm going to just get to the point of the hell doctrine. Okay. Let me see here. It says here, Luke 16:23, and in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torment. So when we look at this word hell, what is it? This word is G1492. Hades. This word is Hades. Let me go on back. That word is, and in hell, it's actually G86, Hades. It says, name Hades or Pluto, the god of the lower regions, Orcus, the nether world, the realm of the dead, later use of the word the grave, the death of hell. When you're looking at the underworld, when something says the underworld, see, you have a world of people that's on the planet. When you go 6 feet under, you're under the world. So that's what it means by underworld. It just means grave in the ground, death. Not the movie Spawn with the clown and fire shooting out the eyes and the realm of the dead people who's in actual hell in some lake of fire, right? See, these guys don't look up anything because they don't understand it. This also proves that this man that said a lot of this blue letter up know more than you, Jake, man, you know? But we have the truth, 100%. Okay, now when you go into the other definition of hell in this text, it goes into, let me see here, it goes into Gehenna. Gehenna, hell it says Gehenna is a place in the future punishment called Gehenna, or Gehenna of fire. This was originally a valley of Hinnom, south of Jerusalem, where the filth and the dead animals of the city were cast out and buried. A fit symbol of the wicked in their future a fit symbol of the wicked in their future destruction, fire. So when you have the missiles hit, you're going to have a thing called the Gehenna of fire, right? And even back then, when I did the research on this, when sacrifices and people were burnt at the stake, that's where they were put. This is why this man had what you call the place where they bury the trash and set it on fire. You know, they get it out of the scriptures, right? What do they call that? I think the landfills or something like that. So also he said, this other Jake said something about, like, I'm trying to squeeze all this in, about the regeneration. Okay. When it goes to Matthew 19, what is this word say? Palingenesia. Let me see that. What that say?
Strong's G 3824. Palingenesia. Palingenesia.
Palingenesia. When you read Matthew 19, it says, "He who follow me in a regeneration." Let's see what that says. It says a new birth, reproduction, renewal, recreation, regeneration. See, this is why you'll have definition 1, A, B, C, D, E, you know, you'll have all these definitions. Hence, renovation, regeneration, the production of new life consecrated by Yahweh. This is why every spring you have the flowers and the trees blooming, because it's a regeneration. They're just coming back over and over again. A radical change of the mind for the better, like, because you can still use it and regenerate, like we renewed and regenerated our spirit. The word often used to denote the restoration of a thing to its pristine state, into renovation as a renewal or restoration of life after death. Right? There's so many different definitions on here, but I just wanted to hit that. That was the first one it went on. And this word restoration goes back to restore. It says a bringing back to a former position or condition, right? Restoring. Okay? That's what that meant. Now, when you go to the the reference of Pelagianesia is G3825. See, we keep going into these things, you know. Oh, here we go. A new again, renewal or repetition of the action. Again, anew, again, furthermore over, and turn on the other hand. See that? I mean, you can keep going and going and going, and it'll keep going, you know, it'll keep going into it. Right? I don't think I have anything else on that. I just wanted to bring out the part of the reincarnation and regeneration. The reason why I put this lesson together with reincarnation, regeneration in hell, because you cannot believe in reincarnation if you believe in hell. So these guys believe that all the spirits that are created, somehow the Most High just made some mistake creating them or something, that he has to take them, and he created them just to put them in hell. I'm talking about an underground world with a pit of fire to burn them forever. Look, when you have something that you don't want anymore, you take it and you throw it in the trash, you set it on fire, whatever it is you do, because you knew it was a mistake and you shouldn't have had it. But meanwhile, the Most High created all this energy, all this life, these life forces, just to take them and create them, just to take them and say, you know what, you didn't do right by me. That will also mean that they wouldn't believe in the Most High controlling everything, the Most High directing your steps. So that means they were created just like we know the man himself is created to be the wicked. But to take you and throw you in a lake of fire, the all-loving God, to throw you in a lake of fire, a creation that he created, and burn you for eternity, is downright madness. You have to be sick in the mind, as I reference a beloved younger brother always say. You have to be sick, a younger brother in my camp. You have to be sick in the mind to think that way. You have to be mentally deranged as a so-called Hebrew Israelite. Well, let me say Hebrew Israelite and a so-called Christian. Because that's all you pushing. You're pushing the mythological Roman Catholic doctrine. Anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.